Civil society organization Economy of Ghana Network wants the Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology to formulate a policy that will prevent human activities from moving towards the shoreline. The policy, termed setback line, is a virtual demarcation that sets the distance between the sea and the land use, which should check human activities that cause sea erosion, besides the natural factors. Hannah Dame has more in the following report.
Head of Department of Marine and Fisheries at the University of Ghana, Dr. Kwesi Apenin-Ado, at the launch of a climate change workshop in Accra, said Ghana has made strides in building the sea defense at Keta, preventing further erosion of sea land. His worry, though, is the continuous use of the sea land by humans in other coastal areas where there are no defense walls.
We have a huge success story in terms of sea defense structures in Keta. Keta is a huge success story. The groins are doing very well. They are trapping the sediment. They are building the beaches. But what you would realize is that in trapping the sediment here at one side, you are depriving the downdrift side of sediment. So you tend to transfer the problem from one end to the other. So currently, if you go to Keta, there's a huge success story in Keta, and we are all excited about it. But if you go beyond Keta, which is the downdrift side, erosion has increased. And erosion has increased because of the changes in the sediment dynamics within that area. So yes, sea defense structures, putting in a lot of money, we have been able to secure and protect the Keta township, but we have just transferred the problem elsewhere.
According to him, this can be resolved with the policy.
If humans are able to allow space for the ocean to evolve naturally, there's no problem. So as a country, we need to begin to go back and look at the idea of having what we call the setback line, so that we have in our policies or developmental agenda a setback line in the coastal domain where people are not allowed to build beyond that setback line, so that the ocean can naturally evolve. Okay, once we have the setback line, it's a way of avoiding interaction with the dynamics of the ocean, which will not be a problem, and still the coastal erosion will not be a problem. But so far as there is that interaction, coastal erosion is always going to be a problem. The setback line is different from the defense wall. The defense wall is basically a means by which you manage coastal erosion. But the setback line can be a policy where we say that, okay, within 100 meters, nobody, or we can say that nobody should build beyond 100 meters to the ocean. So we haven't come across that, but this is something, because now when you go to the coastal areas, people are building right by the shoreline. Something we're advocating for, a work we did. We tried to look at the rate at which the sea or the shoreline is moving inland and the rate at which human beings are moving to the shoreline. You realize that the rate at which human beings are moving closer to the shoreline is far more than the rate at which the shoreline is moving inland. But if we have the setback line, people will be restrained from moving closer to the shoreline, and the shoreline will have that natural ability to evolve, and there wouldn't be any problem.
Acting convener of the network, Dr. Samuel Kujo, mentioned how some fishermen have been forced to migrate to other countries under unregulated guidelines because of the sea erosion. He wants their livelihood to be enhanced to enable them stay in the country.
We have been able to reclaim some of the lands, but it is turning out that we be shifting the problems towards further east of the country, and so we may have to be looking at that.
I don't get it. You say we are solving the problem with a sea defense in one place,
yes,
but the problem is being shifted to another place,
yes,
on the same coastal zone
corridor. Yes. Okay. So we are solving it because we've reclaimed a lot of the land. If you are seen in the presentations, we've reclaimed some land. People have gone back to resettle. Government have put up community housing for some of these people. So people are living there. The evidence is there. But what we are saying is, this is a natural process. So there may be evidence that But the erosion is now moving further to the east, and it is something we may have to look at.
So what?
But don't forget, relocation is very, very expensive.
Very expensive and difficult. So then what would be the other response strategies?
So that's what I'm saying. There has been the Keta Sea Defense Project. It has stopped the erosion around the Keta area. It has reclaimed some lands. In fact, houses have been built on some of those lands, and those people have come back to resettle. In most of these communities, the landing sites have been destroyed. So the fishermen there are moving to some of these areas that still have landing sites. But the most important one is the migration that is going across our borders. Would you believe that some of our farmers are going as far as Cameroon?
How is it an issue?
The migration itself is not a problem, but the issues I want to draw is there may be exploitation going on, because you have these agencies who are recruiting these people. They give some amount of money to their families, and then the people go for about 2 to 3 years. And whilst there, they are able to remit, but any remittance they do, 10% is taken off. And when they have to travel home to attend funerals or something, they will have to be deducted from their earnings.
Hannah Odame for Joy News.
About 10 vehicles enter Ghana illegally each day. Cars registered abroad must require a temporary vehicles importation permit to ply Ghanaian roads. According to the Customs Excise and Preventive Service, the TVI is one of the most abused permits, leading to the loss of hundreds of thousands of cedis annually in revenue.